Remember that fun little 12-hour period where we were all convinced that Golden State would be having a reunion between Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and the whole crew? Yeah, that was a lot of fun, but we know the deal didn't end up going down. And with Golden State not resuming the 24-25 season until Friday, I figured today would be a good time to discuss what we heard over the weekend from Kevin Durant himself about the details surrounding why he stopped the trade to the Warriors at the 11th hour. Discussing that and more on today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. But before we get into all that, if you tuned into yesterday's show, we introduced a new segment on the channel, and that is Tuesday Trivia. The first question was, which 90s Warrior holds the record for most free throw attempts in one game in franchise history? And we got some good participation down in the comments section for the first edition, so make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a Tuesday Trivia from here on out. The answer to the question was Latrell Sprewell in 1997. Sprew had 25 free throw attempts. That's a whole heck of a lot. Maybe we could see Jimmy Butler get to the line 12 or more times over the next couple of games, and the Warriors could stack up a couple of wins. But only one of you guys could be first on the correct answer, and it was my guy, Robert PhD01. Everybody shout out Robert in the comments section. Clap it up for him. He got Sprewell first. Wasn't 4 hours from right now. It was 4 hours from when the video was posted. I was checking and making sure we knew who got the first correct answer. So shout out to you, Robert, and stay tuned. Lock us in as your number one spot for Warriors Trivia next Tuesday. All right, so to recap the situation with Kevin Durant as far as his potential reunion with the Golden State Warriors goes, remember they revealed some interest in KD, after Jimmy Butler had come out and said that he would not sign an extension with Golden State and basically told Golden State not to trade for him, right? The Warriors brass, and I'm saying brass isn't like very broadly here, right? Joe Lacob and a couple other Warriors front office or ownership group people, along with Bob Myers, who's now at ESPN, the former Warriors GM, met with KD's agent Rich Kleiman in the Chase Center Underground Lounge after the Warriors-Suns game and at halftime as well. But then, no, we didn't hear anything. Then the whole 12 hours, trade talks are heating up between Golden State and Phoenix, and then a framework was in place because Phoenix wanted Jimmy Butler. And they were like, does KD want to leave? Well, we can get good value for him right now. A framework was in place to send Butler to Phoenix, Wiggins to Miami. Oh, and I also forgot to mention Jonathan Kuminga to Phoenix, and then Durant back to Golden State. But KD stopped that trade at the 11th hour, said he did not want to go back to the Golden State Warriors and wanted no part of a reunion with Steph, Draymond, Steve Kerr, and the whole crew. Well, we kind of speculated what the reason would be for that, and we talked about, maybe he doesn't want to be in Steph's shadow anymore, or he doesn't have a good relationship with Draymond or Steve Kerr. Well, Kevin Durant cleared that up with Malika Andrews of ESPN via NBA Today. And he said this. He said, people talk crazy about me all the time. That's not the reason why I didn't want to come back. I just didn't want to get traded midway through the season. It was nothing against my time with the Warriors, or I heard because I didn't like Draymond. Well, yes. I mean, I was definitely speculating whether or not it was because of Draymond and their relationship or not. But after a couple more comments I heard over All-Star Weekend, that was apparent that probably wasn't the case. And we know he's obviously still friends with Steph through the Olympics. And overall, they're just good friends and respected basketball players amongst themselves. And then as far as the Draymond thing goes, well, yeah, maybe he wouldn't want to be a teammate with him again, potentially. But he did say over the weekend that he would be an incredible coach when Draymond said on the air that he's already guaranteed the Warriors head coaching spot once he retires, and I guess after Steve Kerr there. So KD was very complimentary of Draymond over the weekend and talked about how great of a basketball mind he is and how hard he works and how much he loves the game. So that obviously wasn't the case. Durant just seemed to not want it to be traded here. More from Durant talking to Andrews here. So at the end of the day, I just didn't want to move, and I wanted to see it through with my team in Phoenix and see what we can do the rest of the season. I'm glad I'm still here. So the overall reasoning for Durant not wanting to come to Golden State is pretty simple. He wants to create his own legacy. And the speculation about playing in Steph's shadow does hold a little bit of truth, right? Because he doesn't want to be talked about like he was jumping on the bandwagon when he came to Golden State in 2016. He doesn't want to be riding Steph's coattails trying to win a championship with the only guy that he could in his career. He wants to go try to do that on his own right now. And you know what? He's doing his damn best at making that attempt, right? He's still playing at an elite level in this league. Still, you could argue like these numbers look like what KD was putting up in the early 2010s when he was leading the league in scoring and looking like one of the best young players in the league. He's still putting up godlike numbers. 27 a game this season on 40% from three. Obviously, he's an uber efficient player. We know he's one of the best mid-range assassins of all time, best shot creators, and overall purest scorers the game has ever seen. And he's still putting up crazy numbers. However, the Suns are not. The Suns are in 11th place. They're below the Warriors in the standings right now. They're below 500 overall. I think they're 26 and 28. It ain't going so hot for Durant right now. Maybe Durant doesn't see this getting any better in Phoenix. They got swept by the Timberwolves last year in the first round. Maybe he asks out for another trade this offseason. But we're not going to speculate on that. We're not even going to ask for that because we got Jimmy Butler now in town. We got Butler in this deal, and it looks like that team with him in tow has transformed Golden State for the better. So before we move on real quick, I want you to hit that like button on today's video. I want everybody to go down below and smash that thumbs up button. Help us help the Dubs. Every like we get on this video is another bucket for Jimmy Buckets himself the rest of this season. And if Golden State wants to make the postseason, maybe get up to that 6th seed, they're going to need a lot of buckets from Jimmy. So hit that like button to guarantee Jimmy gets in the books. The Dubs, like I said, don't need Durant to be successful. They have Jimmy Butler in town now. We're good. Like, we have a guy who is putting up big-time numbers, elevating his game, and is a winning player when it comes down to the times that Golden State's going to need to win games, April and May. And he's shown nothing but promise throughout his 4 games as a Golden State Warrior so far. Over 20 points a night. I mean, Golden State added a 20-point-per-game score, and not like the sense of, like, he's not even creating his own jump shots yet. Like, a lot of these shots are, like, awful lobs, like, on the fast break. Like, he's not even breaking down defenders yet like we know he can do and like we know he elevates to late in the season into the postseason. Like, he's not even doing that yet. Plus, he's super active on the glass. He's super active in the facilitation game. And Golden State's offense has flourished because of it. I know it's a small sample size, only 4 games, but Golden State was in a rut in December and January. Like, they were playing bad, and they were looking like a team that might miss the play-in altogether. Had to go make a big move at the deadline, had to show that they are investing in the twilight of Steph and Draymond's career, and they went out and got Jimmy Butler, and it's been awesome to see since. The competition hasn't been great. It's going to pick up as the season goes on. They're playing some of the best teams in the Western Conference and Eastern Conference throughout the last 27 games of the season, so we're going to see the real Warriors here real soon. I can't wait to see Jimmy and the crew back out there on the floor. There's another guy that's going to be out there on the floor for the Dubs. They're adding a 17-point-per-game scorer here in the next week or so, and I can't wait to see Golden State at full strength the rest of this season. More reinforcements are coming for the Dubs, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, I got to give a major shout-out to today's sponsor, and that's PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less, whether it's basketball, whether baseball's coming up soon. You got hockey going on. But they even have like bowling and darts and whatever sports you want that they play on ESPN, the Ocho. They got it on PrizePicks. They're always trying to hook you up with incredible deals, like a free $50 in your account when you sign up using our promo code CLNS and place your first $5 entry. Like I said, just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And with pro basketball coming back, I decided to get back in the PrizePicks game. There's only one game tonight, so I decided to go with one tonight and a game that they got going on tomorrow, because Golden State doesn't come back till Friday. I got LeBron to give me more than 24 points against the Charlotte Hornets tonight, the team that they just had a trade disaster class with. And then Chris Paul to go dice up the Phoenix Suns, his former team. I'm sure he's going to be playing with a little bit of an edge, and he's going to want to make them look silly. So give me more than 7.5 dimes for CP3. You can take my picks. You can fade my picks. Just go do it at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. All that information will be clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. Golden State is adding a 17-point-per-game player very, very soon. Jonathan Kuminga is on his way back. He has resumed on-court activity. He's ramping up production, and hopefully within the first 2 or 3 games after the All-Star break, Kuminga is back in this Warriors lineup, and we see this unit at full strength. Because before he got injured, he was playing the best basketball of his career, over 20 points a game. I mean, if we're getting this Kuminga back, Golden State's adding another 20-point-per-game scorer to their arsenal now, attacking the glass at a super high rate. And at a rate that we really haven't seen so far in his career. That's been something that I've asked Jonathan Kuminga to do since he's really entered the league, is be a more aggressive rebounder, as he's one of the best athletes that we have in the NBA. Also increasing the efficiency from his outside shot. Not taking a ton, 3.5, but that's a good volume for Jonathan Kuminga to be at if he can shoot 37% from long range. And we're going to need to see a big jump from Jonathan Kuminga. Kenny Smith of TNT noted that we are going to need to see that big jump. He said he has to take the step, not a step, the step that separates him from the rest of the pack. And if he does that, we're going to be looking around here and May going, oh my God, they're in the Western Conference Finals. But if he doesn't, it will be an interesting summer. Well, to kind of give you guys a little bit of peace of mind here, Joe Lacob did say that the Warriors are going to re-sign Kuminga. He said that they're not worried about the financial impact and that the Jimmy Butler trade made to this team's cap table. And he's like, I love this guy. Kuminga will be re-signed. So we'll see how true those words were when negotiations start coming around. Because remember what Kuminga wanted before the 24-25 season, when they were trying to work out a deal before whatever it was, October 20th, the deadline. He wanted $35 million a year for like a 5-year, $175 million contract. Golden State was pretty stuck at $30 million a year. So they were $5 million annually off and about $25 million total. That was the difference between Jonathan Kuminga being extended and not being extended. And I wonder if the Jimmy Butler trade would have been possible had he been extended before the season started. More on that, though. I am actually intrigued and interested to see how Steve Kerr incorporates Kuminga back into the lineup once as Jimmy Butler is a part of the whole crew. Now, it was kind of a one-for-one swap between Wiggins and Butler, but it's a different dynamic because Wiggins was a 40% three-point shooter, and Jimmy doesn't even get up the volume that Wiggins did, and never mind shooting as efficiently as he did. So with Kuminga potentially sticking on the bench, how is this going to affect Golden State? Like, is he going to be leading the second unit full time? Is he going to be vaulted back into the starting lineup? What lineups are they going to use on the floor with Jimmy and Butler together? Or how often are we going to see that? Only time will tell. But there's no doubt that Jonathan Kuminga is a top 5 player on Golden State's roster. And I know you guys see that Pods at 5, right? Absolutely insane that I'm putting him up there. But as of right now, the way that he's playing ball, he's been a top 5 player on this Golden State team. He's been awesome and super productive filling up the stat sheet. You obviously got Curry. You obviously got Jimmy. You obviously got Draymond and Kuminga. After that, it's kind of a crapshoot. And I personally, guys, I just could not put Buddy Hield in the top 5. I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I know he's been starting a couple of games. The dude sucks. Like, he can't play defense. If he's not shooting the 3 ball, then you should sit his ass on the bench for the rest of the 48 minutes that are left. I'm done with Buddy Hield. I don't want to see him playing 30 minutes per game anymore. I'm out on that. So with Kuminga kind of reincorporated back into the lineup here over the next few games, what does the lineup for Golden State look like? Here's a framework that I looked at, kind of based on what Steve Kerr has done with Kuminga so far this year, having him on the bench and playing starter minutes. Because we know that Quentin Post isn't going to play 35, 40 minutes. Neither is Podziemski. But Podziemski and Post, what they do offer in a potential starting 5 for Golden State is that extra spacing and is that ability to hit outside shots like Kuminga isn't as able to as, a Wiggins was, or, even Draymond Green, even though he doesn't put up a crazy high volume. However, if Kuminga was to be playing alongside Butler and Curry and Green, maybe a small ball lineup like this could work. We've seen lineups with Moses Moody run at the floor at the 4, but Kuminga is obviously a guy that they're probably more inclined to be playing at that power forward spot than a Moses Moody, even though Moody's been great and like Podziemski has. I would like to see this lineup out there run with kind of a Podziemski ball handling, Steph running off the ball, Jimmy at the 3, kind of running a quasi ball handler role as well, and then Kuminga at the dunker spot and Draymond doing his thing as well. All 5 of these guys can put the ball on the deck, and there isn't great spacing in this lineup, but all 5 guys can attack the basket. All 5 guys can get a rebound. All 5 guys can give you some sort of threat offensively. Yeah, there might not be enough spacing there. That's probably an issue, but Golden State has proved that they haven't had to hit an exorbitant amount of threes to win the 3 games out of 4 that they have with Jimmy Butler. So we could see maybe a different element and a different style of play for Golden State over the next few games and maybe into the postseason. I do want to see, however, an improvement from Kuminga defensively. And I want to see Jimmy's defensive IQ and leadership kind of trickle down to Jonathan Kuminga. I have super high hopes for JK, but the biggest one I would argue is that he needs to become a smarter defender and a more aware defender overall of where he is on the court, situational stuff. I can't get that Christmas Day game out of my mind where he was following Rui Hachimura underneath the basket out of bounds while Austin Reeves walked Andrew Wiggins down to the cup and there was no help from Jonathan Kuminga. So I want to see more defensive locking in basically from JK, and hopefully the leadership and help of Jimmy Butler can make that happen. Do you guys believe in Jonathan Kuminga, though, to not only make that happen, but to take the step that could help Golden State vault themselves into a spot where we see them in the Western Conference Finals maybe this season? Type B for believe, type D for don't on whether or not you guys believe in Jonathan Kuminga's big return. We can talk about it more on Twitter, though. Hit me up at this handle right here, Smitty at CS, trying to build a little bit more of a Warriors community over on that platform. And lock us in. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/WarriorsTV, for daily Golden State Warriors news, rumors, updates. If you're a diehard Dubs fan, you'll love what we got going on here on the channel. Hit that sub button. We'll see you in the next one. Let's go Dubs.